The Square Ball Podcast.
Welcome to the show that is brought to you with Levi Solicitors, who are doing more than 10% off your legal fees at the minute, 15% off until the end of January for wills, probate and...
conveyancing.
Yes! Well done, Michael.
Get it.
Dan, Michael and Rob with you here today. Oh, if you want to check that out, by the way, head to levisolicitors.co.uk/the Square Ball. So our World Cup diary, a couple of things to tell you about very quickly before we get into all that. The live show with Football Cliches. We are co-promoting something, which is exciting, isn't it? We're like a big promoter.
It's like back to your nightclub days.
Yeah, very much so.
Except less desperate.
When is that happening, Michael?
That's a good question, Dan.
Is it the 2nd of March, Michael?
It is the 2nd of March next year, which is a Thursday night
I'm glad you
in
didn't
Leeds.
I'm glad you didn't know that. And me taking the piss out of you then allowed me to double check that I was right and didn't make a fool of myself. So yeah, it's Thursday the 2nd of March. Carriage Works Theatre in Leeds. If you want to get tickets for that, it's just off over 24 quid, isn't it? But you get us, Phil Hay and Football Cliches coming to town as well, which is the athletic show after us. I think we are officially the warm-up act.
I say joint billing.
joint headliners.
And we're on first so everyone can leave afterwards.
Don't
leave afterwards.
That'd be awful.
Stick around for the full thing.
But it's at least half sold out already, hasn't it?
I think much more than that. I think we're down to a handful of tickets, I'm going to say.
Is that what you've got to say? A limited number?
A limited number.
Yeah, anyway, if you want to come along to that, carriageworkstheatre.co.uk for details for tickets. World Cup then.
It's over again.
Well, it is from an England point of view, isn't it? We do appreciate that there are other non-English people watching and listening to this. We are now after the quarter-final stages, the most prominent of which, from our point of view, is England losing to France over the weekend. So I guess we should start there. It was potentially a coin flip, was the way we sort of built this one up going into it. Did you watch it?
I did.
How did you watch it?
Just at home on telly.
Disappointed?
Yeah, fairly, but never mind.
Over it already.
Yeah, no, I was disappointed on the night because I felt like we certainly had a chance to go through, and even though we got the 2 penalties, you kind of felt we were maybe a bit done over by the fact there was that foul on Saka in the build-up. There was maybe another penalty in the first half. It was certainly a foul and a booking. It felt like things didn't go for us, but then equally we didn't create enough chances. I don't think outside of the penalties there was not quite enough there.
Despite having the lion's share of the game, though, fair to say.
Yeah, I'd like to say I think it could have gone either way.
It was very un-England the way to go out of a major tournament, because I thought played well against a good team. Like I say, could have gone either way really. You look at France's goals, brilliant sort of shot from 30 yards or whatever it was, and then Giroud's header was deflected. We score a penalty, we miss a penalty, and you sort of think, I can't be annoyed at anything, but it's kind of disappointing at the same time. It was strange not really knowing how to feel. It's almost easier if like we're terrible and you want to rip everything up and sack the manager and get a load of new players in, or you've got a referee to blame. I know like people were going mad about the referee a little bit. I was watching it in a bar in Leeds, and the guys next to me were really angry about the referee from the very start. Even to the point of when he did give free kicks to England, they were like, oh, that's not even a free kick. And you just think, well, you can't be both ways. Like, come on. So yeah, I kind of left thinking, I don't really know how to feel.
That level of annoyance, which bar was it, by the way?
I was in the Wardrobe in Leeds.
Very good.
Very nice.
That level of annoyance maybe separates out the people who genuinely consume football all the time from people who are slightly more casual in viewing, do you think? Is that a fair description? Because as a football fan, you know sometimes these things just marginally go against you, and then football's all about moments, isn't it? And those moments with the penalties. If you can't score 2 penalties in a World Cup quarter-final, then you are shooting yourself in the foot, aren't you? I mean, Michael, you have a long, storied history in coaching. Have delivered many excellent pieces of coaching advice on this show.
Seminars, I'd say.
Is that what
yeah.
Sermons almost.
Clinic.
Yeah.
All different words you could use for it.
Think of a different word.
That'll do for now. What was it? Are you asking me Harry Kane's penalty advice?
So yeah, if you'd have had a chance to speak to Harry Kane then, just before he takes that penalty, what would you have said to him? Now, bearing in mind, before you answer, obviously you saw the first penalty. Did you notice what he did with the first penalty? So the first penalty, I think he said before, because you see the video that's done the rounds afterwards as well about Johnny Wilkinson. Well, he does a similar thing to Johnny Wilkinson. I don't know whether they've gone to the same coach or he's spoken to Johnny Wilkinson, but he's got a routine, hasn't he? Did you spot it when he respotted the ball first time? That he stopped, put the ball on the spot, folded over both of his socks, and then he went through a set number of steps. And that's what Johnny Wilkinson used to do when he was kicking for the England Rugby Union team. And for whatever reason, something was sufficiently in his head the first time that he felt the need to restart his routine. But then he put that penalty in. Second time around, Michael, I'm turning to you now. This is beyond the level I understand.
He kicked it far too high.
Right. What would you have advised him to do under the circumstances?
Don't kick the bottom of the ball as much. Kick it more in the middle. Then it would have gone in.
With his toe, maybe.
A big old toe bunger. Yeah. Very hard to save. Don't see, it's an underrated skill. It moves all over the place.
So everybody who was watching it will have had their opinion on what he should have done under the circumstances and thought, would you put it in the same spot again as you did the first one? Would you change sides? It's his teammate, Reece. I
think a second penalty in a game is very tough to do. To the extent where I'd almost be tempted to let someone else take it at that point, because it feels like there's too much going on. I don't know. Maybe that's just because I'm not someone who's ever scored a goal.
I was convincing myself that Hugo Lloris was going to save the first one, and then the second one you do think, oh God, this is just horrible. But I must admit, I wasn't expecting him to kick it that high. That was a mistake.
Yeah, it's a weird dynamic as well. With obviously he's probably taken hundreds of penalties against Lloris as well, which is a weird thing because they have been teammates for about a decade. So it's, I don't know, that's like a weird added element to it.
So he'll know which way he tends to go.
Yeah.
The thing is with Kane's penalties, and this is what I wonder if he was trying to do, like you saw with the first one, even though he went to his favoured side and his favoured location, the top left-hand corner as he looks at it, they're unstoppable if you get him right, which is what I suspect was in his mind for the second one, is that if he hits it hard enough, it's unstoppable, is that penalty, regardless of where he puts it. He just happened to put it into the stand.
Yeah. But I felt overall we played pretty well.
Yep.
Subs again. I don't know why we took Saka off. That seemed weird.
Apparently he was hobbling around a little bit before.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Because he seemed to be absolutely destroying him down that side.
Yeah.
And our future left back there was getting... I can only assume we're trying to sign him. He was that bad. he seemed that out of position and reckless in every single challenge. I can only assume we're going to go. And he's former Red Bull as well, isn't he?
Right. Yeah.
So we'll be in for him, no doubt. But yeah, I thought Saka was really good, and I don't know. It's hard to know where it went wrong.
I think it's just moment for me. It was just moments.
Yeah, it's so like the finest margins, isn't it? And I think that's the thing when you are playing the reigning world champions. It's just hard to moan about it. You think, oh God, that was
sometimes you just lose.
Yeah, you're really not far off that being very, very different. It's only like really tiny moments that have to change. Like Giroud's winner, like it's a great cross, but it's a deflected header at the end of the day. You think, it's just bad luck, innit?
Yeah. and even Francis Opener, it's one of those that's so far out. You go, that's not fair.
Yeah.
That's not even. You've not even worked anything there. You've just hit it from miles out and it's gone in.
And he hit it under the legs. I can't remember which defender it was, but he went under his legs. So
the keeper through Bellingham's legs, I think.
So Pickford's unsighted. Doesn't see it until a fraction of a second later than he needs to.
Get a goalkeeper with longer arms.
Yeah? Is that your advice?
This could be an option.
So hit it dead hard into the net and get longer arms.
Look at Meslier.
Yeah.
Mind you, he's sick, isn't he? So I don't think his long arms are a bit a factor in that, though, to be honest.
His long, weak arms. Oh, bless him.
But
speedy recovery.
Are we getting rid of Southgate or are we keeping him? I can't decide.
The fact that I've got no real opinion on it probably tells you where my head's at over the whole thing. I'm like you. I'm kind of like, well, we actually did pretty well. Games turned on a few moments. They took theirs, we didn't. He's got us that far, got that performance out of him, which I thought was quite a good performance, albeit there's part of you wants you to see him send him out like Bielsa sent out Leeds, because it's such an alluring prospect, isn't it, watching as you attack and attack and attack. But we would have probably conceded about 4 goals if we'd have just attacked France relentlessly. So it's an impossible job, isn't it, trying to get that balance right. And I think for the most part he did. But there was a slightly ponderous start again, wasn't there? Like it seems to me almost that you agree that like England are a little bit in their own heads when they start these games. And it's only when they kind of let go and get into that kind of flow state when the game's happening so quickly around them that they got to react to it naturally rather than thinking about what they're going to do.
It feels like we just set out to be sensible at the start of a game, which I think that's all it is. I
kind of feel sorry for Southgate. I tend to defend him, but I do think there maybe is an argument for like a fresh voice there, because he has just been there a long time and people just tend to boo him, which isn't really productive, I don't think. But also I think whoever comes in, I just think they'll probably do the same thing as what he does. Like, I don't think it's ever going to be radically different to what he does, really.
Although there is tactical nuance there, isn't there? That I think there's the fear is that he lacks a little bit of that. That's all.
Yeah, maybe. The part of the issue as well is who else do you get? Because it's not the England job isn't the job it used to be, is it? No one's going to leave a Premier League job for it anymore. Whereas there was a time it was such an honour to be offered it that people would drop whatever they were doing basically to be like, yes, of course.
Would you go for someone like
top job?
Tuchel or someone like that? Or
Bielsa.
really?
He's available.
No, you don't want to ruin him, because if he was thrown to the wolves of the press in this country, it'd be awful.
Yeah, we don't need more Matt Law opinion pieces on Marcelo Bielsa, do we?
I mean, yeah, the danger of getting rid of Southgate is that you open the door to Lampard.
Yeah.
Or someone like that. Someone who is definitely worse.
Although based on evidence, you'd say someone like Eddie Howe's been one of the names that's been mentioned I've seen in the
press.
press.
He's not going to leave Newcastle. He's got like £1 billion to spend, and he's at the start of a massive project there.
Yeah. No, probably not. Probably not.
A year ago, yeah, Eddie Howe would probably have taken it. But equally, a year ago, Eddie Howe was that guy who failed at Bournemouth and got sacked.
Just wait until Graham Potter gets sacked by Chelsea in about 6 weeks, and then.
Although aren't we having him?
Oh, is that all right? Okay.
That's
But I think you stick with Southgate for one more tournament, don't you? Assuming he wants to, because he said he's considering his options, didn't he? So, but yeah, I think it's one of those things where I kind of went, well. Then I went out for beer with a couple of my mates, so I went to school without seeing them for 6 months or whatever. You go out for your twice yearly beers these days. And we just sat and had a good chinwag about, school and growing up and all that stuff. Kind of left the football behind us as soon as that game was over.
It's telling, I think, that the next morning I didn't wake up and even remember it. It was only when I sort of checked Twitter. Then there was loads of World Cup stuff on about England, and I thought, oh, you lost yesterday. Yeah. Whereas, can any of us say that after like the Derby defeat, for example, in the playoffs, the first thing you just opened your eyes and went, oh God, that fucking thing happened.
That's even if you could even sleep. I just went home and sort of stared at a wall for a few hours because I didn't know what to do with myself.
The lads who I went out with on Saturday, the first tournament we all watched together was Euro 96. And because our sixth form presentation evening, we were leaving sixth form that summer of 1996, obviously, happened on the night of the semi-final at Midland Hotel in Bradford. And it got to the stage where they were giving out, everyone was dressed up or whatever, and they were giving out awards. And the importance of the awards kind of just petered out into the background as the game went on and on and on. And there were like TVs in the corner of the room, one above the bar, one in the opposite corner. And everyone just started gravitating towards the TVs and watch. I mean, I still watch Gaza now. We know that potential golden goal where he lunges for it. I still think he's going to get to it. Even when I look at it now, you think just half a second earlier, Gaza. But I remember being devastated on that night. It completely ruined what was supposed to be like the big send-off for us all at sixth form. And here we are 26 years later, and we're still no further forward.
Still not bothered. I mean, it was capped off with the evening by watching Josh Warrington lose as well, which was a shame, because that was a bit like the England game, in fairness. It was the one that it could have gone either way. He struggled to say he did well, and I admittedly know nothing about boxing, but I got to the end of it and I thought, I think he might have won. But I had no idea, because I don't understand the technicalities of it.
Hit him dead hard, I think.
I mean, they both got hit pretty hard at various points.
How do you think you'd have coped under those circumstances?
Really badly. I mean, he's very little, is Josh, isn't he? But I reckon he could probably hurt me quite a bit.
I mean, we've sat in a room with Josh, and he carries that boxer intensity with him, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'm always amazed how light boxers are. When you do the weigh, and you're like 8 stone, you're like, that can't be right.
That's one of my legs.
But yeah, he would absolutely destroy me. But you were at it, weren't you?
Yeah, I was very lucky enough to be ringside, and my main thought was, fucking hell, this looks really hard and horrible, and I'd hate to be in there. And yeah, it was really similar to the England game in that, well, actually, I was a lot more gutted about Josh losing than I was about England. But you did come out of it and you just think, he's fought someone who looks really good. It's a really good fight. He's given it a really good go. Like, I thought he kind of started slowly, but the way he ended the fight, like, you just think, fucking hell, it's all credit to him. Like, and then, but you'd think, it could have gone either way. He's lost a really tight decision. Oh, that's like
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah, it's like, it's almost worse that you don't have like a, oh, that was shit. You just got to go, sport at the end of the day, it just comes down to sometimes you win or lose. And both things tonight have gone wrong.
But I found it harder to accept the losing in 1996, that first tournament that I watched, compared to now, where you kind of go, well, I've seen enough disappointment in my time that sometimes it just goes that way.
Yeah. But 1996, I went and sat and cried in the garden.
How old are you then? 25?
No, I was a child. It was a tough year. I'd seen Leeds lose at Wembley a few months before as well.
I was 17 then, just shy of my 18th birthday. I turned 18 in May, and when was the final? It was about February, March, was it? Something like that. So I wasn't far off it. Obviously in Bradford, a hardened drinker by that point. But that was the one where we set off from Bradford at 6 a.m, started drinking at 9 at Luton. Kickoff was 5 p.m. That was a horrific day.
Yeah.
I think there was someone sat behind me at the boxing who might have had a similar day because he was on the undercard fight. I think it was just before Josh came out. He was sat with his head in his hands. I thought, is he going to nod off or is he going to go to sleep or is he going to cry or something? And then he just threw up all over himself.
Great.
I turned round and suddenly all the seats around me were empty and he was getting carried off by security like a toddler at school who just had an accident or something.
Bing bong can have the contract cleaners to aisle 4, that kind of thing.
Yeah, they weren't. The poor bloke who came to have to clear that up, he wasn't best pleased.
Oh, imagine if you had a chain reaction. Anyway, back to the football. Other quarterfinals then, Croatia-Brazil. Obviously, Croatia knocked Brazil out on penalties.
There was more fun in this.
There was, yeah. It was fun seeing Neymar upset. Dreadful little twat. But then going back to the Project 538 statistical win probabilities that Moscow objected to when we did this before the weekend, they had a 23% win probability in that game, they reckon.
Proven nonsense now.
Definitely.
That whole thing. Because did it get anything right? I don't think it did it? It predicted England would win, it predicted Portugal would win, and Brazil would win.
Well, Netherlands, Argentina, it predicted that correctly.
Okay, on a 50-50 games, it managed to get 1 out of 4. Brilliant.
Yeah, and Morocco, I mean, the absolute icing on the cake was Morocco, wasn't it? Which was
delightful.
Which was a brilliant start. But you did wonder, didn't you, with the way that Saturday was unfolding, you thought, this could be it. This is where it opens up, and England have got a chance. You know, because you'd fancy yourself against Morocco. Of course you would. Portugal would have fancied themselves against Morocco.
I was going to say, that's what everyone's thought against Morocco.
Yeah, but they are, by definition, the weakest team left in the tournament.
Yeah. No, they are.
So you've got to fancy yourself against them. But that's the danger, isn't it, when you start looking ahead to that and you start plotting your route to the final or whatever.
Shame for Ronaldo and Bruno Fernandes, though.
Were you sad for him?
Because
you would have seen
footballers.
The camera, I think it cut away from the celebrations on the pitch, didn't it, and followed Ronaldo all the way down the tunnel in tears. Were you moved by that?
Yeah, I was actually.
In what way?
Thought it was really funny.
Yeah,
I wanted it to follow him all the way.
Dreadful, horrific, nasty.
Just to add to the joy as well, it was Ali McCoist on commentary, sort of commentating on Ronaldo crying, saying it's not all about him, it's about Morocco. And even towards the end of the game, he was just bigging up Morocco. It was beautiful.
Yeah, so that was good. It's good that they're not going to win it because it had been a dreadful business.
I was worried when they dropped him. I was like, oh God, what if they're really good now and they're going to win it and he's going to sort of claim the glory as his, like at the Euros when he was injured immediately and decided to be manager.
What I think what's funny with Ronaldo as well is that we as relatively rounded individuals versus him who's lives in this weird megastar bubble, and he hasn't yet realised like how finite his own like career is, and he's still railing against his own decline. That where he goes from here now, having basically agitated his way out of Man United, which is funny in itself as well, we should add. That does he end up in Saudi Arabia getting absolutely bucket loads of money, but you essentially, in terms of profile, you've fallen off the radar.
I really hope he goes to Saudi Arabia, scores 1,000 goals, and nobody pays attention.
Well, the thing is, all you get there is money, and it's essentially the one thing he doesn't need. Like he probably will never spend the amount of money he's already got because he's from all of his 2 decades of merchandise and promotions and all that sort of stuff. He will have earned an absolute fortune from all of his. Who is it? Is it Nike or Adidas? I don't even know. Shows how well it works. I don't even know what boots he wears.
One of them.
One of them's giving him fucking loads of money for 20 years.
Yeah.
He's obviously picked up a fortune in salary every week as well. So, yeah, good. I hope he's fucking miserable.
Yeah, it'll be nice, especially if Argentina. I mean, I'm not particularly bothered about Argentina going to win it. I'd rather not see that, but it would be funny from that side of things to see Messi lifting the trophy because he'd hate that. And you've got to take whatever victories you can in these things, haven't you?
I mean, Morocco. Are we all back in Morocco now? Just because it'd be funny.
Morocco or Croatia for me.
I'd quite like Argentina to do it, I think. The Messi thing, and also I just think it would make Bielsa happy. I don't like that idea as well.
You sad sap, Rob. You emotional fool. On to the semi-finals, then it's Croatia-Argentina, Tuesday at 7 UK time, and then Morocco-France, Wednesday, 7 UK time. They are 36% Croatia, 64% probability Argentina. And then Morocco 30.
Okay.
But listen to that then. Then Morocco 34% against France 64. I think those stats are wildly wrong.
That's because they are.
Like they're giving Morocco a 1 in 3 shot against France, and Croatia only fractionally more. I think Croatia are a very good side.
I mean, the Morocco-France numbers don't even add up to 100.
Oh, that might be me typing. I think that's me typing it wrong, Rob, to be honest. Yeah.
Well done.
There we go.
No. Maybe don't go into statistical analysis if you can't make your percentages add up to 100.
It's just a typo, Michael. It's just a typo. I mean, overall for the World Cup odds now, they're they reckon it's 37% Argentina, 35 France, Croatia 16, and Morocco 13. So Morocco's chances have obviously improved by getting through, which does stack up.
No way.
Yeah.
You're joking.
Absolutely true. They were on a 3% shot going into the quarterfinals, but no, absolutely fair play to them. It's nice to have an underdog in there. And I still consider, even though Croatia knocked England out of the World Cup in 2018, you still consider them an underdog in terms of size of the nation. I mean, what's the population of Croatia?
It's like, is it like 4 million-ish? It's kind of Scotland-sized, which, doesn't reflect well on Scotland, I suppose.
Let's have a look. I have the Wikipedia. We know Wikipedia is obviously absolutely spot on. Population, 2021, they had just shy of 4 million people.
There you go. They're doing well.
Yep, they are doing well. Scotland, let's have a look.
You're just using this as a stick to beat Scotland with now.
Correct.
Fair enough.
Let's have a look. Population, 5.4 million, they reckon.
There you go, then.
Estimate for 2029. So, Scotland, what's your excuse?
It's a good question.
Is it at Dan Moylan?
Shut up.
You've already given away that you live in Bradford. Just go find him.
Hang on a minute. Wales. Let's have a look. What's the population of Wales?
Why are you doing this?
3.2 million. Wow. I mean, I'm just trying to find...
Do both islands next. Go on, go all the way in.
Just piss off everyone. I actually genuinely find it interesting from a numbers point of view how well they're performing. Croatia. Nice country as well. Have you been to Croatia?
Been several times.
You've been to Croatia?
Never, no.
Go.
I'll have to go.
It's nice.
Is that a new sponsorship? Go to Croatia.
Visit Croatia.
It's nice. It's nice, and there aren't that many people live there, which is also nice.
Excellent. In terms of Leeds news, we've got anything more World Cup wise to chat about? Getting fewer and fewer games now, aren't there? So we've got less to talk about.
There was a bit of shithouser in the
Netherlands-Argentina
game, wasn't there?
Of course, yeah, and all the unicorns as well, because we had Rodrigo de Paul, Gakpo, Noah Lang came on as well.
And then the star of the show was Burnley's striker.
Yeah. I mean, that is worth...
No one saw coming.
That is worth touching on, actually, that free kick that the Netherlands did 10 minutes into injury time. I mean, the bollocks to do that under those circumstances. And you saw what Rashford did when he took that pot shot when he went full Izzy Brown there at the end of the England-France game.
It's a bit harsh on Rashford, I'd say.
What came off the bench like special teams, no?
Well, yeah, fair enough. I mean, Brown's wasn't very close, was it? I don't think.
And Rashford has done quite well in this competition so far, whereas Izzy Brown, it was like his
first
appearance, wasn't it?
Specific moment.
Yeah, okay.
That specific moment. But yeah, to do that, just to tap it into 3 attackers, I mean, to have the presence of mind to do that and not kind of lose your shit in the last minute of the World Cup thinking it's now or never. Absolute fair play to him for that. And did you enjoy the shithousing that was going on during the penalty shootout? Because everybody you saw that there's a Reuters photographer, was it? Somebody who caught all the Argentinian players kind of like running out of the centre circle, looking at the Dutch players as if to say, "Fuck off!" We've done you. I mean, that element of that needle in football is great, isn't it?
I like it.
Because
I have to say.
Did you see the Dutch players have been getting in the Argentinian players' ears as well as they were walking up to take stuff and walking back as well? So fair enough.
Big grudge matches are what makes football fun.
Yeah. There's always stories as well at World Cups as the 2 buses will be leaving at the same time. It's always whoever's won just giving it the odd fuck off and all that, which is nice.
Did you see that? There was that tweet from that rugby arse that was doing the round saying this is everything that's wrong with football. No, it's everything that's right with football.
That's why it's more entertaining.
Yeah. Sorry, we're not drinking pints of our own piss.
You're splitting out rugby league from rugby union there, by the way.
Absolutely.
That's rugby union you're talking about.
Clear.
The piss drinkers.
I mean,
so we were talking about drinking piss twice in a week. Yeah, I'm sure we talked about this the other day.
Are you not a regular with that? Some espouse the health benefits, Michael.
It might have been a Butter World Cup thing. I can't remember.
Is there a Wikipedia page? Drinking your own champagne? No. Maybe that's a euphemism. Drinking your own urine. I just wonder if drinking your own champagne is a euphemism for drinking urine therapy. Let's have a look. You can do it.
Has Elon Musk previously said it's a good idea?
Should we say yes?
Probably.
Drinking of one's own urine. Urophagia.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
It was used in several ancient cultures for various health, healing, and cosmetic purposes.
I know Bear Grylls likes it, doesn't he? But that's about it.
In extreme cases, people may drink urine if no other fluids are available, although numerous credible sources, including the US Army Field Manual, advise against doing it.
Have you seen the that Louis Theroux interviews new series? He does one with Bear Grylls in that.
Oh, I've not seen it yet. I've seen Stormzy and Catherine Ryan.
Yeah, the bloke who drinks his own piss comes across as quite odd, I'd say.
No way.
He sort of lives on this private island that looks a bit like a prison. It's very strange.
Private Island does have its attractions.
Well, I suppose so.
It'd be nice and quiet, wouldn't it? But I think we're getting waylaid from the football chat here. In terms of wrapping up Leeds stuff, if we move on to that now, we talked on the last one before the weekend about Clicky maybe being off. Looks like that's gaining momentum, possibly to MLS again, as we mentioned, I think, before the weekend, to go play for Wayne Rooney.
Looks that way. I don't like this.
No.
I felt really. Do you know what? I don't know why I did this to myself. I deliberately made myself feel sad. I went back when I saw he was leaving. I went back and watched the highlights of Bielsa's first game against Stoke, and I thought, oh God, I wish I could go do it all again.
Yeah,
all that, just that from that moment to the promotion. I think, oh, it was so good.
Even when you factor Derby that defeat into it, the overall trajectory was ace, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I thought, oh, now he's gone and he's gone and he's gone and he's gone.
Everything died.
It'll never be as good.
I do feel like if Click isn't going to play for us, which Marsh seems insistent on, really, I quite like the idea of him sort of causing havoc in MLS, but I don't like the idea of him playing for Wayne Rooney, unless he's just going to remind him of that day celebrating promotion at Derby.
Of course, I completely forget about that dynamic. Yeah, of course.
Like, that would be nice if he's just in training, constantly showing him photos of Click pissed in the stand celebrating.
You were still playing them, Wayne, weren't you? Did you get your boots so much now? Looks challenging.
All
for
that
you.
stuff, all that monkey business. I think we'll really miss that side of it, the personality aspect of it. Will be a real miss, and especially as we've got the graffiti as well outside on the wall, outside the northeast corner.
Yeah. I know we can't keep him because he's not going to play. So
you can't keep anything forever, can you?
No. Although it's one of those things that you think, well, maybe just wait a few weeks.
Michael, you can
the manager might not be here forever.
Keep him in here though. Keep him as a memory.
I suppose I can.
Yeah. No, I'll be sad to see him go. Going back to your boxing talk, actually, Rob, Somerville was supposed to do the ring walk with Josh Warrington on Saturday. Didn't, because he's carrying an injury, isn't he? He
got injured early on against Elche, didn't he? And then, Josh came out for the ring walk, and it was Liam Cooper carrying the belt. And, saw Liam Cooper at the end just looking like he didn't really know what to do after everyone was sort of clearing the ring and everyone was sad and upset. And Paul Liam was just stood there staring into the distance.
Forlorn. Bless him. Jesse's been on a podcast as well this week. Can't remember the name of it. Was it Men in Blazers that he did? Is it a two-parter?
I've not seen this, but he's been on there quite frequently over the World Cup.
Suggesting that the sort of big takeaway point from it was we need to be more aggressive in our attacking, as in not like physically aggressive, but when we're on the front foot, stay on the front foot, try and kill teams off rather than getting ahead and then sitting back.
It's always more front foot. I'm sure he said this before. He's so good. When people said that's not really worked, has it? He's like, no, it's because we didn't do enough of it.
Right.
There's been the excuse before when stuff hasn't worked. I don't know. We'll see, won't we? Football's back soon-ish.
Well, it is in 1, 2, 3, 4. Soon.
Soon.
Back at Ellen Road on Friday.
I've only got a ticket, actually.
No, I've not sorted mine yet.
I do have one. I'm just thinking about how cold it's going to be, to be honest.
Yeah, because it is -3 in Leeds today, which, we know that we've got Norwegians who watch and listen to this, and it's far colder there. But this is quite cold for us. We're not used to this, are we?
No, we don't plan for it. We don't plan for heat or cold.
No,
we're fine when it's about 16 degrees. Everyone's happy. Other than that, everything's fucked.
Goldilocks, innit?
Yeah,
it's the Goldilocks zone that we need. Get that porridge just the right temperature. One other thing probably to tidy up is Mateus Cunha has been linked again, which again I can't remember if we mentioned it before the weekend, but those links seem to have strengthened over the weekend. Romano now talking about it, and Ornstein has followed up on that.
David Ornstein, in his column for The Athletic today on Monday, mentioning Wolves were quite confident of signing Mateus Cunha apparently, but now that's kind of gone cold slightly. And he mentions Leeds and Everton as the other two clubs that have interest in him. But I don't know, it's a strange one. We obviously wanted him before. He's not really a proper striker, is he?
No, he's more of the same, isn't he?
But then, I guess in the summer when it was Hakpo, he's not really a out-and-out centre-forward. It is strange how they seem to be identifying players for certain positions by choosing players who don't play that position.
He's played for him before, it's worth adding, when he was it was at Leipzig when he was there, so fairly briefly, but he does know him.
We were in for him when he was at Hertha, weren't we?
Yeah, and that's when he went to
Madrid. Yeah.
So, there's history there. We know that they were in for him first time round, yeah. when that rumour was doing. That was the same time as Rodrigo de Paul, wasn't it? So we had so many. I said we were saying before, we had so many unicorns on show in that Netherlands Argentina game. It was untrue, even down to what's his name, the left back Tagliafico. I can't pronounce it.
Are you including Messi in that? When he left Barcelona and people went, oh, he might.
He likes Bielsa.
He might come to not playing the Champions League for the final few years of his career for a massive pay cut. Turns out he didn't fancy it.
Didn't fancy that.
No.
Did not fancy that. Which is a shame, really. It is a shame. But would you like Cunha, even though he's not a striker, he's a forward?
I mean...
And he's got the broken toy kind of vibe about him as well. It's not worked out for him in his most recent move, but he's a Brazilian international, albeit he didn't make the squad for this tournament.
Who does he play instead of?
Because
Because Sinisterra and Jackie would be the... Rather than... Because he's not an out-and-out striker, is he? So he'd be one of the wing positions, or... I guess, could he play 10? I don't know enough about him, really.
Yeah, unless they do the thing of having a striker that's not really a striker. The old Dan James trick.
Let's not do a Dan James. Is he better at it than Dan James?
I mean,
probably.
Can he put the ball in the net? No. So seems to be the answer based on his time at Atletico. Apart from that, no need to worry. Do you want him?
Yeah, go on then. After a left back.
Can he play left back?
After a left back and striker, please God, get those first.
There does seem to be. I mean, this is the thing I'm getting cynical about it now, is that we've had so many windows where we've gone, get a left back, get a striker. I almost don't expect it now, but there seems to be noise around that again this time.
It feels like they're digging the heels in now to make a point. But no, I'm not going to do it. Because you keep asking, we're not going to do it.
Just showing Lawrence de Bock. This is what happened last time, all right?
It just goes wrong. Anything else then we need to discuss before we head off? It's been fairly quiet from a Leeds perspective, hasn't it? It feels like everyone's just kind of getting back in the groove now.
We don't have any proper news about Somerville's injury, do we, at this stage?
No, he did post about it. I think he said it's not too bad, but that's very vague. It's one of those of...
Is it Adam Forshaw not too bad? Pat Bamford not too bad?
Yeah. Sinisterra will be back soon though, won't he? So we can swap one for the other.
Yeah, maybe.
Right then, does that wrap it up for this time? I think it probably does, doesn't it? We shall return later in the week.
Yeah, after the semis.
Yeah, so we'll come back before the semis, see if anything's happened. Might be a short episode at this rate. And then we'll come back after the semis and previewing the final. And we'll return back to the normal format in the run-up to Christmas and when the World Cup's out of the way. But in the meantime, enjoy your countdown to Christmas. You enjoying yours, Michael?
It's all right, yeah.
Yeah.
Drinking 2 days in a row now.
Gonna make it a third.
I need a break.
I mean, because we are off this afternoon to record the Christmas special with the guys at Radio Leeds, aren't we? Doing a show for them. Christmas quiz. There's been talk of a pint afterwards. Are you up to it?
Well, I've got the train in, so I've committed.
In for a penny, in for a pound? Let's do it.
Where were you drinking yesterday?
The Broodnell.
Oh yeah, anything on?
Yeah, there's a good gig on. I don't want to damage the algorithm by saying the name.
C-Bomb and the Gang, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, who were on. Good band.
Good fun.
Good
yeah,
band.
It's good fun. And don't forget Petrol Bastard.
Petrol Bastard, the support ad, which describe them.
Well, men of, I don't know, I guess about my age probably, dancing around stage in pants. One like a normal, smaller boxer shorts, and the bigger lad had like, it almost was like a nappy sort of size of thing. Not a nappy, not absorbent, but that kind of a vibe to it.
Yeah.
Is this just giving you ideas for when you're trying to work out what to do at Carriage Works?
Exactly. Dan, have you got any big pants you can wear?
I could find some.
Okay, cool. Yeah. We'll do that then.
I'm just looking at their Bandcamp page. They're described as twatty UK techno-punk bullshit.
I saw them as a Tesco value prodigy, was what they were described as well on one of the things.
The Facebook page says, electro-punk party nonsense with lots of swearing and mindless violence.
That's the one.
Sounds
good.
good.
That's what I'm into.
Why not? Right, we will return then towards the end of the week. We'll speak to you then. Bye.
The Square Ball Podcast.